any kind of wreck?
Well, it goes to show that like these carbon tub cars, they're very strong. Honestly, putting them back together is not really that hard. If you have damage to a component that's like bolted onto the tub, then you're probably better to just replace it. Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm barely on throttle and it's pulling hard.
Yeah.
Welcome to an episode of Jay Leno's Garage. Something different this week. We're featuring a man and the car. This is a gentleman, one of the most popular automotive YouTubers in the world, Freddie Hernandez, better known as Tavarish. Come on in, my friend. Good to see you. This is the man who bought the flooded P1. I've been following it religiously. I've been fascinated by it. I said, oh, we got to get him on the show. How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Pretty good. I mean, it's a little surreal being here because I've been watching your stuff for more than a decade now. And to have a car here that I sort of cobbled together, that's, it's been a real
Well,
thing.
that's what I like about you. You actually work on the stuff. You do your own cobbling, which I enjoy.
Yes.
I enjoy. Just watching you take this P1 apart, you're the only one that had the guts to do it. Immediately it was a flooded out car, but that's okay.
Yeah. So my P1 was, it's a really similar spec to yours.
Yeah.
Except it has a lot more salt and
right.
water.
Extra salt. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't run very good.
Yeah. Well, salt is bad for you. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Definitely for cars.
Too much salt in your diet is bad. But I like the fact that you are not afraid to delve into it. Now, this is a car you blew the engine, what, a week or two ago?
Yes. So this car I actually put together about a year ago, and it took me 2 years to build because this car originally was crashed in the front and the back. Some guy spun it around, hit a tree, and I rebuilt it. We did custom interior paint and all of that. And then I decided that I wanted to take all my friends for a ride.
Right.
And then during one of those rides, I blew the engine because I was pushing a little bit more power than stock.
Really? All right. Now, well, let's tell people what we have here. 2016 McLaren?
Yes, this is 2016 McLaren 675LT.
LT.
This is one of 500 examples until McLaren made the Spyder and then a bunch of other examples. So let's just say one of 1,000 of this type of car.
Now, have you ever bought a new car or do you always buy a used car?
No, I never bought a new car before.
Never bought a new car.
I don't know what that's like. I apparently hear good things.
Yeah, actually,
but
they run great, and you don't have to pull the motor. There's an advantage to it.
That's so weird,
It is weird. I realize it's unusual.
Yeah, I don't get that.
But you wouldn't be a YouTube star if you hadn't done it your way. So that's what I find fascinating. I think people love the fact you have the guts to get in there and try and do it. And we don't really know whether this P1 thing is going to work or not. So that's the exciting part.
Well, the thing is, I could never afford these cars when they're new.
Right.
Even when they're used in good condition, I can't afford them. So I buy them in crashed shape, flooded, on fire.
Right.
Hopefully not still on fire, but I find value in not only restoring them, but also like finding out how they work.
Right.
Nobody knew how a P1 worked, other than the McLaren dealer. And I wanted to find out how hard it was, and it's honestly not that hard.
When you buy them, do they come with a salvage title?
Yes, most of the time they do. If they're really bad, sometimes you get lucky, and if they have like a little front end hit or something like that, they'll still have a clean title. But with this one definitely had a salvage title. It was in the salvage lot for something like 2 years, and it got sold and resold. And every time I look at a car, because I look at these salvage auctions all the time, I look at cars like this, and if it's sold like 3 times, I think the universe is calling to me, and I'm like, I gotta get this car. Now this car has a story, and this one came up, and I paid around $80,000, which was all the money I had, but I decided that I love this shape, I love this car, and I wanted to remake it exactly the way I want it.
Make it in your own image. That's right. Well,
hopefully not.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it looks great. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
So
thank
tell
you.
me exactly how you, it's hard to believe, oh, I was just taking my friend for a ride and the engine blew. That seems a little suspect to me. Because that's like what you tell your dad. I just given Billy a ride and the rod came through. Yeah. What did you do exactly?
Yeah, so I actually was giving my friend Sam Hard a ride. He's from the UK, and I decided to have all my friends go in the passenger seat and experience this. Honestly, we were doing like second gear.
Right.
We were rolling into it, and at about 6,000 RPM, I realized that something had let go in the engine. It was like marbles in a can noise, and yeah, it was pretty bad. We had three holes in the block. 2 rods decided to leave the building. So
and this is after you fixed it.
Yes, this is after I fixed it. But in the process of fixing it, I installed bigger turbos. We gave it a tune, that sort of thing. I modify cars, Jay. Like this is what I
thought
do.
You said you just took your friend for a ride and the rod came through. Okay.
Well, the car isn't stock. Okay, so I wanted a car that had a little bit more power. But now, after that happened, I got a call from your producers saying, hey, would you like to be on the show? And I thought, Jay's a really big McLaren fan. And I would be doing a disservice if I didn't bring this car, but it had a blown engine.
Right.
So I went to Cannonball Garage, which is in the Chicago area, and I asked the owner, Arnie there, if I could build an engine, if we could build an engine in about a week's time, because this was like literally 2 weeks ago.
Right, right.
So he trailered this car from Orlando, where I live, to Chicago. I flew out there, and in a week, we took the engine out. We built a new 4-liter from a 720S. We mated it up. We did a bunch of R&D. We had it on the dyno, broken everything, and now it's here, and hopefully.
Well, how does one? Did you buy rods from McLaren, or did?
No, because the rods are the weak point in McLarens when you start actually pushing power. So we got CP pistons and Carrillo rods. So this engine.
You got Carrillo rods in a week?
Yeah. I mean, they had them in stock.
They did have them on the shelf.
Yeah,
okay.
they had them on the shelf.
Do they do the rods for McLaren?
So Cannonball Garage actually gave them the specifications.
Right.
So I mean, if we're going to get a little geeky now, they're slightly smaller than the rod profile of a stock McLaren. So it gives you a little bit more compression ratio, or a little less compression ratio, more boost, and a little safer for the engine. But yeah, this thing is pushing 4 liters and makes a lot of torque. Now you can actually have the low end torque that the car never came with.
So now the horsepower when it was new was what?
Horsepower was 666,
right,
or 675 metric.
Right.
This is more like 800.
Oh, wow.
But we have about 600 foot-pounds of torque at 3,500 RPM.
Okay, now did you change the turbos or the stock?
So the turbos are slightly bigger,
right,
but they're not bigger to the point where it's going to make 1,000 horsepower.
Right.
So I wanted something that's a little bit more reliable, but with the 4-liter, they spool up quicker, so you have like instant response.
Right. So the last time you put bigger turbos on, you blew the engine.
Yes.
Are you putting those same turbos on this one?
They're on this engine, yes.
Check, please. Yeah. Okay. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over?
Well, we changed the rods. Actually, each rod can handle 200 horsepower per cylinder.
Right.
In theory, this engine should be good for 1,600 horsepower.
Right.
We're at half that, so I think we're good.
The key word is in theory.
In theory, yes.
Yes. All right. Well, fascinating. Okay. Does it feel normal to you? Does it feel like a McLaren still?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I wanted to do with this car was theme it in my favorite car of all time, the McLaren F1.
Right.
So a little while back, I got to be a passenger in chassis 22, McLaren F1 for my show Car Trek, and I could never afford one of those things. But I could kind of make this an homage to that car.
Okay.
So instead of having 675LT badges, I made my own logo saying LT in the style of the F1 logo.
Oh, okay.
And I put it all over the car on the interior. We have it embroidered into the seats.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's embossed.
Yeah, it's embossed.
Yeah. Okay.
And we also have it in the gauge cluster. So I have a white face gauge cluster with the numbers just as they would be on a F1.
Nicely done. Okay, now you've kept the stock transmission.
Stock transmission, yeah, they're actually good for a lot of power.
And they can take the power.
Yes. So this car, the 675LT, the long tail cars, they actually shift a little bit faster than the 650S and the 12C, even though they have the same transmission.
Why would that be?
It's a coding thing. It's a software thing.
Okay.
So they just if you put it in sport mode, it'll do a pop on the upshift and make it a little bit more sporty.
All right, fascinating. And you got the engine built that quickly in a week. That's amazing.
Yeah, no leaks, which is a surprise for me. Yeah. Because every time I put together something like that, I'm always looking on the floor and I'm like, oh, I guess we missed something.
Well, it's fun to take the mystery out of these kind of motors.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing. I just wrote a story about that with my McLaren. So I was driving my Ford GT. I'm going to take it out and go up in the hills. Check engine light is on. So I'm driving, and now it's like, Ed Brown pulls the telltale heart. It's the check engine light. Is it brighter? Is it getting brighter? Is it me? I'm thinking, I don't want to push this car. I either have a rod through the pan or my gas cap is loose. You know, that's the thing about checking. You don't know what it is they're checking. You're like,
Right.
Okay, so I came back here and got the computer, cleared it, it went away. Oh, okay. But I didn't fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. See, then I took up my 57 Buick Roadmaster convertible, and I haven't driven it in a long time because the trunk doesn't shut. And since the convertible, the top goes down,
Yeah.
have to leave stuff in the trunk. And since the trunk's not locked, I don't take it anywhere.
Yeah.
So I came back here. I had to fix something. So I opened the trunk. I took the lock out, and I thought, well, the spring's probably broken. And I looked, and no, it's not broken. So I put it in the cleaner, cleaned it, lubricated, put it, and now
It's fine.
now it locks.
Yeah.
I can lock it with the first time in 30 years. I lock it with the key.
Yeah.
I go, oh, I fixed something. Now I felt more sense of pride that I'd done something on my 57 Roadmaster
Yeah.
that I couldn't do on a Ford GT. So same for this. I mean, I imagine you get a tremendous sense of satisfaction that you rebuild the engine yourself and it runs.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's that was like a very mechanical part of the
Oh,
car.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, I do owe it to Ivan from Cannonball Garage. I mean, he knows everything there is to know about those engines, and he put that thing together and measured all the bearing tolerances and all that geeky stuff.
Right,
But
yeah.
stuff like that, I'm a more of a get your hands dirty and bust your knuckles and stuff
Right.
like that. When it comes to computers, I'm pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
Where, all right, I can clear a code. I was like, I don't trust that. Like,
Well,
I
it's
just
like
there's
I
something
always
about
say,
it I don't trust. you know?
Mechanical stuff breaks, electrical stuff erodes.
Yeah.
And you don't know. You can't look at a relay. Is this a good? Which one's the bad relay? I don't know.
No.
But I can look at the trunk switch. I can look at a car. So no. I give you a lot of credit.
One thing I actually like about McLarens is even though they are supposed to be like really technologically advanced, the mechanical stuff is quite old school. So they don't have direct injection. It's port injection,
Right.
like you had since the late 80s. You have turbochargers that are like journal bearing. They just ride on this film of oil. They're old school like Mitsubishi turbochargers that
Right.
they used in like Evos and stuff like that. So this is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty old school engine.
Well, there's nothing we can really see.
There is. So you can actually get behind there. There's a tool in here. Yeah, I gotta get the tool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's an electric thing. The
Yeah.
window just goes. So there's a tool.
Okay. And what does that do?
So this opens up the back hatch. So
Oh, I see.
like that. So that's one side. If you can
Hold that up.
Hold that up. Yep. Like that. And then, aha, the stick.
Oh, the stick. Of course.
Heard you're a fan of the stick.
Oh, I love the stick.
There you go. And
All right.
there she is.
I imagine you have to take this whole rear piece off, correct?
Yeah, it's actually not that bad. Once you take off the long tail spoiler here, then you
Right.
take off this thing that they call the armadillo. Then you take off the carbon pieces, and then you work on the engine, and it comes out through the bottom.
Cool.
One thing that I think, well, I hope you'll like, is we added some gold right here.
Right.
We also gold plated this because I wanted to do the whole F1 thing.
Right.
But the reason why we have gold up here is because we added this. This is the roof scoop.
Right.
So this is a
Okay.
functional roof scoop, and this was an MSO option. I think if you went through McLaren, it would have been like $80,000 or $100,000. Like you have to send your car back there, and they'll
Right.
cut the roof off and whatever. So we decided that when we rebuilt the car, if I can get my hands on one of these, then we just install it, and so that's what we did.
Where'd you get your hands on one of those?
It was a new old stock from somebody in the UK.
Oh, okay.
So it was,
But it wasn't $80,000.
no. I think I paid like $8,000 for that.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another piece inside the car, but I had to do a bunch of custom stuff to actually route it into the air boxes, so it does all the, fun whooshy noises and stuff.
Well,
like that.
it did a nice job. It looks beautiful. It looks great.
Oh, thank you.
It looks great.
This color is one that we made on our own. It's a custom color called Tempest Blue.
Oh, so this was not the original color of
No,
the, no.
It was like Delta Red, so it was just like a
Okay.
flat red.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I always love the blue on tan. Like I think you'll never have a blue on tan car that looks bad.
Right.
So I love that color combo, and this is like a Miami blue that we made a little bit lighter and added some flake.
Cool. All right. Well, here, we can put this down and go. Where does this go?
That goes right there in those little. Yep.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, over there.
Oh, I
over
see.
there. You got
Yeah,
a better
right.
angle than I do. Cool there. And,
Put it back in.
Yep, you got it.
Cool. And that's a standard piece, right?
Yes, standard piece.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, this is also Lexan. This is supposed to be like the lightweight version of this car.
Right,
so.
right.
There you go.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, there's that logo you mentioned. Nicely
Yes.
done.
And we also did like Daytona style seats. So these seats the 675 seats are the same as the P1.
Right.
So I think they're terrible. I hate because I'm not the
Well,
right
they do
size
have
for
they
these.
have a bigger one, a more comfort seat.
They do, but here's the thing: when you don't buy a car new,
Right.
you don't option that. So
You don't get
yeah.
that. Okay. All right. Now, well, you did a great job. The new leather and everything, huh?
Yeah, the company was E3 Customs, and they totally redid everything.
Well,
so
it did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
And ready to go for a ride?
I would love to.
Let's do it. 86,000 miles?
8600.
Oh, 86. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's not bad. The only thing I have is downpipes and but the stock exhaust. Right here.
Oh, yeah. That got a little pop there.
Yeah. So these
Feels very healthy.
yeah, it's not bad. You know, for an engine with 38 miles on it. You know, this is the first real kind of shakedown run after we broke it in on the dyno.
How long you run on the dyno?
I mean, about the whole day. But you know, on the dyno, we only put about 30 something miles on it. One of the things I like about this car, you got the roof scoop making all kinds of Darth Vader noises.
Right, right.
You can have a conversation in here, even though it's this crazy straight piped sports car.
But you've got mufflers on it, right, or no?
No, there's nothing on it.
There's nothing. Wow.
Nothing.
No, you did a nice job, and you did these in the gold, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's just engine enamel that I got from AutoZone.
Right, right. I like the LT1. It's nice.
Yeah, yeah. I made that on Photoshop one night, and then
it looks good.
got a company to make that whole gauge cluster.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I mean, one of the things I'm always really kind of anal about is safety. These cars had a recall for the airbags. I didn't want to take it to the dealership, so I just bought the brand new airbags because these are
Right.
Takata airbags. So when I installed the dash, I installed the new airbags. We had all that stuff coated, so.
Did you modify suspension at all, or is that stock?
No, the suspension is bone stock. So the ride on a bumpy road is a little bit rough, as you would expect in a sports car like this. But I mean, in normal mode, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not gonna, rattle your spine. So how does it compare to your 12C?
This has got more power in it. Feels like a 720.
Yeah, I mean, we used the 720 block, and it actually makes quite a bit more low-end torque than the 720 does.
So this engine came out of a wrecked 4-liter car,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yep.
How bad was that one?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, the engine, they went over it, so it was a nice clean block. So all we reused on the engine were was the crank, and basically that's it. I mean, we replaced everything else.
Oh, really?
All the bearings and rods and pistons.
Well, I think you should be real proud of yourself. You did a great job here. One of my favorite things is when we pulled the engine out of my F1 McLaren, and people are like so stunned. And, well, why did you do? But that's the thing. Cars are so complex now. I think if you're a young kid getting into the business, I could never work on it. You think you could never do it because nobody's done it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why I think your videos are great, because you're an inspiration to a lot of those people that, the frustration of dropping a pan and seeing all that dirt and sand come out of the motor. You go, oh my God, what a horrible horrible thing. I mean, I was watching it like, oh, I was feeling for you. Like, oh, ow, ah!
When
like
2 gallons of water come out of the oil pan,
I
yeah.
know, it was like watching the guy bleed to death. You know? Oh my God.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I got the P1, because everyone saw that car die on TikTok.
Right.
You know, so like everything I'm doing to this car is just making it better. Like, whereas like if I bought a P1 brand new, let's say I just got a loan for, you know, crazy amount of money, and I bought one used or brand new, everything I would do would make it worse.
Right.
You know,
right.
it's never going to be that clean. It's not going to have that low of miles. But now it's like I could put tools on it. I could, you know,
Have you heard from the original owner?
Yeah, I talked to him. Yeah, he's I mean, he's given me his blessing, and yeah, it seems like everything there is okay.
I can't imagine when he looked out the window and saw that car floating away.
That's got.
And he had a lift in his garage, didn't he? He could have put it up in the air.
Well, I mean, what's crazier is that he was at home during the hurricane.
Wow.
And like, you know, he watched, because there was like 9-foot storm surge. Like he did have, you know, multi-level house, but it's still crazy because that storm was, you know, Category 4 that hit, and a lot of people lost their homes, they lost their lives, and you know, if I can get a little piece of that and rebuild it and, you know, tell a story, I think that's, you know, that's just fine.
How stunned were you when you found out how much those carbon fiber body parts would cost you?
So when I went to McLaren, they quoted me on a lot of the body parts, and it ended up being like $750,000, and that's not even including the harness and the you know, engine components. The rear clam alone is 130 grand. So, I mean, it's literally, you know, the back body work or just a really expensive car. You know, it could be a down payment on a very nice house.
Right.
So stunned isn't even the right word. It's just like, I knew that this car was expensive, but this is next level. So the only option I have is to really, you know, make my own parts.
Right, right.
And for the most part, that's what we did. But a lot of these parts are actually interchangeable with 12Cs and even this car.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we made a shifter fork for my F1.
Oh, wow.
When it broke.
I mean, that's real old school, like mechanical. That's, yeah.
But you know, it's funny, when you buy an F1 new, it comes with a toolkit.
It does, yeah. It's gold, you know, for weight savings.
Titanium. But
yeah.
It doesn't weigh anything. She's very nice.
It's not bad.
Chassis seems straight.
Oh yeah. We aligned it and
very nice.
Yeah, everything's as it should be.
You're not crabbing, you know.
No, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel really strong in the mid-range.
Yeah, and one of the reasons when you tune these cars, you don't want to give them a lot of low-end torque because it bends the rods.
Yeah.
But when you fix that rod problem, then you can get all the low-end torque it wants.
Yeah. No, it's raw and refined at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we can have a conversation here, but
very nice.
Driving at speed, it's not bad.
I guess those turbos really do keep it quiet, don't they?
Yes. Yeah, they're like little spinny mufflers.
Yeah. I mean, turbos seem like such a miracle cure. It's like 3 horsepower.
Yeah.
You know, the air's going out anyway. You might as well make it do some work.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm barely on throttle and it's pulling hard.
Yeah. These turbos aren't, you know, huge, so you're not going to have a ton of top end, but it's just a lot of mid-range, low end. And like, it has top end too, but it's, you know, it's...
Yeah, but it's nice to have the turbo that's geared to the motor.
Yes.
You know? I mean,
yeah. Especially with the 4-liter, they spool up a lot quicker.
Yeah. 0.2 of a liter doesn't seem that much.
I know.
Isn't that funny?
But listen, to guys, any increase in size is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's like, this is a long tail. It's 1.3 inches, but it's long. It's long.
I mean, to me, this feels like a brand new car. I would never guess this would.
Yeah.
The salvage title has been engine pulled out and another one put in.
We had it down to the carbon tub.
Yeah,
like we replaced every single bolt.
Wow,
and
really
everything we torqued to spec. I got the factory service manual.
Right.
We double, triple checked everything. But I mean, we replaced the subframe front and rear because it was, you know, it was a big accident, so everything lines up geometrically.
What did you replace it with? Could you buy the pieces?
Yeah, you can buy. I bought the front one new, and the rear is from a 650S.
Oh.
Yeah, so because they're the same basic car. I've always loved the look of these cars because you know, that Frank Stephenson design.
You ever meet Frank?
I've never met him. I talked to him on Instagram a while back, but yeah.
Very nice guy. I've been to the garage a couple of times, and I've been over there. I sat with him when we put mine together.
Yeah, he seems like a really good dude.
Yeah, a real kind of citizen of the world type guy.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah, steering is great. Everything is great on this thing.
Yeah, the steering rack is slightly different than the 12C. It's a little bit sharper. You know.
Is that out of an LT?
Yeah. It's the same one that came out of the car.
Stock one.
Yeah.
Brakes.
So these are the stock brakes that come with it. So I think it's 15.5 front and 15-inch rear.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I'm glad that they weren't damaged in any way, because that's a bill I don't want to get.
Oh, those P1 brakes! Oh my God.
Yeah.
What are those rotors? 34,000 a piece?
Yeah, something like that, because they're made by Akebono.
Yeah.
So on mine, I'm actually having some rotors made by Alcon, the UK brake company.
Right.
And Alcon makes the clutch for the P1, the hybrid drive assembly clutch.
Right.
So they were like, yeah, we can make brakes for you too. I'm like, okay, cool.
I never heard of Akebono, whatever the name is, till I got my P1. What are they on?
Akebono makes brakes for like Infinity, that sort of thing. They're like a Brembo competitor.
Oh, I see. I thought it was just like F1 guys or something.
Well, yeah.
I like this piece too. That's really neat.
Yeah, that took a while to get.
Why didn't they have that on the car when it was new?
You know what? I don't know. I think, you know, McLaren does this thing where they release a car and then 6 months later they're like, oh, we got a better version of this thing. You want it? But I think even, you know, if you take out the sound, even looks wise, the roof scoop kind of makes it, you know.
Well, Freddie, thanks a lot, my friend. I'm real proud of you. I feel good about watching now because I saw what you did with this. And I know you're going to get through that P1 thing pretty good. So,
well, I appreciate it more than words can say. This has been a dream come true.
Now,
thank you to you and your team,
I'm in P1 Anonymous, so if you're starting to let go or call me up, I'll come sit with you.
Okay.
And I'll get you through the P1 blues. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. This was awesome.
Check out his channel. Well, you got more viewers than I do. You're doing huge, though. You don't need help from me. But
how about this? If anyone there watching this video right now is not subscribed to this channel, then you need to subscribe to Jay Leno's Garage.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And same with you, my friend.
Awesome.
See you guys next week.